The same old bag of notes. Wouldn't you like something new to rock out with? This is it. See your Oldsmobile here.
Oh my God, there's the meter, and we're back!
Yeah! Can't believe it.
Here we are, DrJay here, Rocket Radio, as always with my co-host, Rocket Radio, Rocket Report, cas-am Performance, Stephen Minore, M-I-N-O-R-E, shoot him with the email.
cas-am Performance at sbcglobal.net. What's the
S? That's right. The S is for Chicago.
I don't
no,
know.
but that's a CH.
Yeah, that,
You know, speaking of Chicago, Steve is a little wired up tonight.
I
He
am
said he was
wired.
out imbibing with some friends.
Yeah.
Pre-Festivus
yeah.
alcoholic intake, and
Yep.
brought me a jelly stick though. But
Yeah.
he's
Had
a
to
little
get-
excited. He's got a lot to celebrate.
Oh, I got a lot going
For
on.
all those folks that tuned in last time, we had our MCACN 2018 pre-show a couple weeks ago, and I hope everyone was following that. We had a lot of live updates, a lot of live feeds, a lot of YouTube clips from the Garner Customs and Restoration boys, Ken and Allan. They put up a lot of stuff on their Facebook for all the results and everything. And like I said, you got a lot to celebrate for. Coming home with the gold, baby.
Yes, sir. Right here.
There it is.
Look at
It
that
looks
thing,
like
huh?
one of those crazy diamond awards. Let
Yes,
me
it
read
is.
that.
It is.
Concourse Gold 2018 MCACN Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals. Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
You know, one thing that we
Thank
said,
you.
and I closed out with Ken and Allan about this, is I wanted to put the screws to them a little bit and say, you know, you got to kind of show, and it sucks that you have to, that the blue car last year wasn't a fluke.
Right.
And kind of cement them into the restoration and custom world in Oldsmobiles. Aside from everything else they do, hope everyone watched online with the Mustang that they brought as well, which
Yeah.
is one of
They
one
did a
of-
little
it was
excerpt on
crazy.
that.
But this, in my eyes, cements those guys in the Oldsmobile restoration world, and the 9-month just story of Steve's W31 culminating the big word I used a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, man. It wasn't just me.
No, I know. There's
It was-
a lot of
it
people.
was
we
a
gotta
lot
talk
of people.
about,
Oh,
and
my
you
God.
did I watched the thank you video, which is great. Maybe we can put up some clips of that
Yeah,
somewhere in the middle
couple
of
little-
this episodes.
Yeah.
The
just,
thank you list, the
wanted to
credits
thank
list was
you-
long and distinguished.
Look, I wanted to thank a lot of people. There was a lot of people that had their hands in this, indirectly and directly, obviously. But, and there was some people that I forgot, and I apologize. But it was a big moment for me, and
Yeah.
I went on for 5 minutes.
No, it was 11,
6?
It was 11 and a half.
Yeah, but I didn't thank everybody for 11 minutes. Was it 11? Oh, I thought it was
because
6.
At one point, it was at the 6-minute mark in that video, it's like, okay, let me go to page 3.
Oh, yeah, right. So, I just kind of brainstormed a little bit and just kind of stepped back and said, who really was involved with this car and who kind of, paved the way for me. And it was just so many people. And it wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't, I didn't read anything. I just kind of wrote a list and just kept going through and added my own little twists and turns and kudos along the way. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I'm all wound up, dude.
He comes in with this suitcase full of things.
I got some stuff,
I
man.
was following it all weekend, and
Yeah.
I can't believe this. And
It's good. It's a pretty awesome feeling.
I'm sure it is.
A lot of us did a lot of hard work on that car, and this is the feeling that you get at the end of
I'm sure
accomplishment.
it's
And
indescribable still.
it is.
where
It's
it's
still.
like-
It hasn't worn off.
Let's get away from one thing I said a couple weeks ago in episode. What episode was that? 11. Yeah, that was episode 11.
We're on a dozen
We're
tonight.
on episode. Yeah, right. We're
12
on a
up.
dozen now. This is episode 12. You don't go into these for the awards. You don't
Nah.
go into these for the accolades.
Nah.
This was different for you because this was a surprise unveil.
Right.
Yes, you followed the build,
and I saw it
out there as well. Followed the build. In muscle car
No, a
review.
lot of people came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I seen you in the magazine.
Right.
I can't wait to see the rest of the articles on the car." And so
this was a little bit different because this was a big surprise to you. Seeing the car being reunited with a completed car.
Yeah.
And then the awards just started coming and coming.
Right.
And coming,
Yeah.
and I'm counting on the floor, and coming,
Right.
and coming,
Right.
and coming. And
Right.
this
This
sounds like
is-
an X-rated video.
Yeah.
And I got a cardboard box over
Yeah,
here.
what does
with
it say
more.
on this side of that? What does it say?
It's a W-31.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
box.
We'll get
That's
to
the
that.
Pack the box.
Yep,
Pack
that's-
the box. There's
yep.
a dirty joke there.
Yeah, that's
Well,
it's all good.
Let's get personal here, and
Yeah.
let's not talk technical. Let's
Nah,
not
we're not
talk
doing any
food.
technical
No,
tonight.
we're gonna do a little bit. Of
Little
that,
bit.
but
Lightly,
I
lightly.
want to know. We all heard the thank yous. We know who was important. We know the vendors that were, had their hands in this
Yes.
from top to bottom.
Yes.
We know the Garner Custom folks. We know about Stefano giving you the kick in the ass. And we know how we got here.
Right.
I want to know, in watching that video, when they were talking and announcing your name, and Frank and Franklin were rolling that cover off the front of the car, what was that like?
I was already not watering up, but I could feel myself, the anticipation of seeing it all together, building up, and I got a little. I was cracking already. If you look at the video real close, you could see me
You could see
kind of
the
try
body
to,
language, and
and then compose
spot,
myself. I had to
you
compose.
You gave praise to to your long
Yes,
friends.
absolutely, and
upstairs.
that I waited to the end for that. Those guys were.
That's where it's clear that you were like,
Yeah, this is not about this right here. See this right here? This is
That's great.
This is a cool piece.
That's great.
But everybody that was there and having my family, friends, and new friends, and
Let's do something different. For
you know,
fans. Keep talking though. But
it's
watch this. Hold that award up. We're gonna do the
really cool.
first ever.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna do like the
Let me get these
first
things
ever
out of here.
while we're recording. The first ever photo on the fly.
Wow, here we
There
go.
it is, right there.
Look at
Look
that,
the
yeah.
window behind you. And okay, so
Bink.
that photo right there was taken while we're recording.
Unbelievable. That technology is great, ain't it?
Too
So,
funny.
it was just I wanted to walk around so much more. And this year, because my car was in the show, I didn't take any part in doing any judging at all. Just a little coaching, and that's about it. But, and there still wasn't enough time for me to kind of walk around or whatever. But it was just a great, great, great show. The biggest gathering of W31s ever at one time in one place.
Yeah, we talked about that before we started rolling. Was that collection of W31s assembled by Dan Vasic?
Yeah.
was bigger than any of the nationals.
Yeah, there was
you've
never
been to.
ever there will be never will be any of that amount of W31s in one area ever again. Restored, whatever, race cars, Almeo, that car didn't have the motor in it, but still, I'm just saying
El Malo.
and we're gonna have Dan on. He's gonna, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So, that was the biggest thing. When Dan puts these things together, it's like it's a big gathering of a specific model car that usually is not replicated ever again. Like a couple of years ago, they had Hemi convertible Cudas. All right, they had like 28 of them.
Which
Okay.
is almost all of them.
Yeah, so
Considering in 71, I believe there was 14.
yeah, so I don't know the specific numbers, but to walk down an alley where you've got that many convertible Hemi cars, staring at
all
the face,
price range from wreck to 250
Yeah.
all the way to
millions.
to 4 million. is the
Whatever,
market
you
for
know,
the,
right.
I believe the white.
So
convertible.
yeah, yes, I think that was there.
Yeah.
So
That's famous.
having that arsenal all together of those kind of car, any kind of car, whatever, Pintos,
So
whatever.
he's always done before you go like crazy.
I believe Dan's
He's
always been
done, like, a
involved.
feature thing.
Yeah, well,
At-
these invitationals
So is
were-
he part of MCACN, or is he a friend of MCACN? That
No,
just
he's
gets
part
to
of
do
it.
like a feature invitational.
No, I believe that he's part of McCacken,
Well,
and
I'm
he's the
gonna
one.
ask him that
Yeah,
later on.
well,
Let's get that
let's
down
get him
so
on.
folks know.
Get him on, man. Let's go.
Because if you're going to put together best of the best as far as a manufacturer has. Like the Hemi-Cuda convertibles. I mean, that's the pinnacle for Mopar. That's
right.
And it's not even so much for the prices on the auction blocks. It's Hemi, 4-speed, automatic, convertible. There's 14 of them in 71. That's ridiculous.
And getting them all there in Chicago in November, a week before Thanksgiving.
Right.
Who the hell wants?
What these guys do is they have them in, air conditioned and heated garages, and they run them with a diaper twice a year. And these guys took out these cars. It's the same thing with the W31s.
Yeah, there was some W31s that I've never seen. I knew most of them that were there, obviously, but just to have them all lined up in a row was just one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And I knew it was going to be that way. It just, when it's in front of you and it's physically there,
the old lady
I don't know. She's rummaging around putting more Christmas trees up or what?
She's decorating. So
good.
crazy.
Let her be.
It's okay.
Let her be.
We may start a new feature.
Let's get Dan on here. Come on. Let's get Dan on here. Yeah, let's get him on. Yeah. Let's do it. Well, we're talking about
him with the email.
cas-am performance at sbcglobal.net.
All right, there you go. You didn't even start. So here we are, DrJay, Mobile Steve, Steve Minore, and Rocket Radio, and Rocket Report Steve, the documentation and authentication services.
Whatever.
Performance.
Yes.
On Facebook, on Twitter, everything.
Yeah.
We're doing a quick recap because there's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot. New website after the first of the year.
Oh, new website.
Yeah, I'm going to have a new website up.
We could sit here all night and talk about, hey, I saw this at MCACN. I saw that at MCACN. I thank these people at MCACN.
Yeah, we got to focus.
Go online and go to Garner Cars and Restoration Facebook page.
Yep.
We're not
There's a lot on there.
People. We have nothing in here. They're just great guys. This project culminated a couple weeks ago with Steve's car being completed and unveiled there. If you want to see some of the videos of references that we're talking about,
it's all there.
Go on their Facebook.
Even on mine, too.
On yours, Stephen Minore, Minore. And you know what? I want to ask you one more thing. In one of the videos there I saw, that made mention that your parents were in attendance during the unveil.
My brother?
Yeah. Well, I know your parents were there, too.
Yeah.
So what was their take? Aside from the, attaboy, I'm so proud of you, this is amazing. What was their take on the scene?
They just couldn't believe the amount of people that were standing around. And secondly, they couldn't believe the amount of people that I thanked because they don't know them all. My dad is not a guy who, he doesn't brag. They don't brag at all. My parents are really humbled by, what's the word I'm looking for?
You can say success. It's okay.
The success I've had in a short period of time with this. So, my dad's like, hey, my mother's first name is Sandy. So he says, San, when we walk down the aisle, Steven's not going to be able to walk 10 feet or 20 feet without knowing somebody, saying hello, whatever. It's not just a walk-through thing. These are people that he interacts with and known for years. So that's what amazes me. That's really what gets my dad.
Is there a point in your old man there where, I won't say he recognized the heightened success of this, but yeah, he understands that you're successful. You're a young man, the oldest son, yada yada yada.
Right.
And was there something that popped in his head? Maybe you guys had a little father-son moment where it's like, I can't believe this scene. I can't believe these people around you. I can't believe how much this has grown. Did he see something where it kind of validated what you do and how big it's become with this audience, and he finally saw it, kind of thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was last year at MCACN.
Okay.
When he attended with me and Emilio.
Yeah.
And he, one night back at dinner or something like that. And he, like I said, he doesn't brag about it, but he just said to me, he goes, I can't believe the amount of people that you know. It's amazing. You got a really good thing going, and I'm very proud of you. He was very, and my dad's, my dad is
9 to 5. You're successful in your 9 to 5 job.
Yep.
And you have to balance this hobby and your passion.
It wasn't easy.
Right.
This was not easy. By any means, it was not easy.
Still employed, the amount of time
I mean, they knew what I was doing in a sense, but, did I push the envelope a little bit? Yeah. Is this something that's only going to happen once in my lifetime? Yes. There will never be another gold W31 that I've owned since 93 that got restored in 9 months that was presented at MCACN in Chicago, and we had everybody there.
Here,
right?
Before we, flip the phone lines on,
right,
see if we can get in touch with Dan.
Yeah, Dan will be calling in.
You can where do you go forward with the car here? And I'm not talking about local cruise nights, because obviously that's in the springtime. The car is going to come out. So
I
all
have
the folks
to.
out here are going to see it.
Yeah, I got to do
And you're
that.
going to have to, tell everyone the story over and over and over and over. Bring that car to the center or whatever.
Right.
Where can you go on a show level with the car if you want to start getting some accolades? Because, it's not about it, but it's nice to have the car recognized. And now, for you, keeping the car, bringing it to some bigger events, what's next for you in 2019? And I know we're way off from car
Well,
show
it's
season.
funny you say that, because today I got a private message from Ralph. And he said, congratulations on the restoration. Would you be willing to, bring the car up to the Big E in March and, display it with the fast cars up there? With the...
Talking about our buddy from Ralph Barbagallo.
Yes.
And Mopars
Supercars, baby. So, I raced with them 10 years ago when Ralph first started that. And he's always been asking me through the years, when are you going to get another Olds? Come on, get it done. So I knew that time was going to come, and I didn't expect it to come that quick, but it was today. He's like, would you like to bring it? I said, well, if it doesn't conflict with any of my promised auctions, or it doesn't conflict with any of that, surely.
I'm happy you said auctions, because that's written down on my list.
Yeah.
If you've already been looking at the Scottsdale, Arizona Barrel
Oh,
Jackson,
yeah.
12th.
Yes.
Yes, he's getting all excited.
Yes.
We'll get back to that. Let's flip the phone.
We're going to break
lines
some
on.
records.
Let's see if
Yeah, we got to get
on
Dan.
the phone.
Let's
see
get
what's going
Dan in
on.
here.
Hopefully he calls in soon. We'll see what goes on.
I'm sure he will.
I think it's really amazing what you're saying about your father, where last year was when it kind of became real, and he's like, wow, this you really are like succeeding in this. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, he saw it at MCACN last year. You know what I mean? Whoa.
There he is. That's
Who could
gotta
it be?
him.
Hey guys, Dan Vasic here.
Hey!
Wow.
Oh, there's our audience always screaming and
The
cheering
man.
on Dan Vasic. Tell the folks who this guy is, Steve.
He's Dan Vasic.
Yeah, well, I know that, you know that, but the Rocket Radio folks out there, they've heard us mention this name now for 11 episodes. We're on episode 12 here.
Yeah.
And tell the folks about the man, the myth, the
Well,
legend, and now the voice.
I know. Dan will fill in the blanks, but, Dan actually put together and orchestrated the W-31 Invitational this year. And he put it together perfectly.
Wow.
No duplicate colors.
No, he should tell us that, not you.
Right. I'm going to let him go.
Dan,
I'm
tell
gonna let
us
him
about
go.
what you put together. What is Steve talking about?
Unbelievable.
About the no duplicate colors and the obvious things like that.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I've been a fan of this show that you guys have been doing, and at first I didn't understand it. Then I was like, "What's this all about?" And then I kind of started listening to it, and I got to say, hats off to both of you. This is pretty cool. Something very, very innovative, and I'm just glad to be here with you guys live, so to speak. So to tell you a little bit about the MCACN show.
We are live, baby.
I've been very fortunate to be a part of this since day one. It's a great bunch of people that run the show. It's become the biggest indoor muscle car show on the planet.
It's pretty amazing.
And what I do is I help orchestrate and put together these invitational showcases each year. And, this year, I just knew it was time for the W31 ramrods to shine. I try to pick cars that, that really need an education, and to educate folks on what these cars are. So it takes me about a year. It takes me a year to do this, and it's something that I just do out of the passion, that I love these cars, and meeting guys like Steve, and it's just that's the thrill of it. The cars bring us together. The cars are phenomenal, but it's the friendship, it's the camaraderie, it's the the passion that we all live for these cars, and that's what I get a thrill for. And then every year, all of these people that I've met throughout the 10 years, they come back and they're like, "Hey Dan, what do you got going on this year?" And so many people just come back every year because they just love what the show represents and what it's all about. And that's basically it in a nutshell. And what I try to do is I try to get cars that are, unique and different. And yeah, I don't like to have duplicate colors unless I really, really have to. To give you an example, Steve's car, that beautiful gold. And I knew Steve was going to have a wonderful, wonderful showing with his family and friends and all the Garner guys, and it was just a phenomenal show. So there was another guy that I kind of didn't shun away from, but I explained to him, I'm like, hey, I don't take this personal, but because of Steve, he's going to have his car there. I didn't really want another gold car there, but anyway, it happened to work out that we did invite him to come at the last minute, and he was with us. So we did have another gold car, but I'm glad it all worked out, and the show was just over the top.
It
what
was.
is technically your title in the whole MCACN theme here?
Well, many. I wear many, many hats. If you just wanted one title, I am the zone manager of Zone 1. And when you come into the building, you go down 6 steps. And right there at the beginning of the show, when you walk down those 6 steps, that is Zone 1. And the owners of the show, they only want the best cars in Zone 1. So I have the privilege of manhandling these $1 million cars that they put in my possession because they trust me. They trust me with my judgment in the placing of the cars, and I get a lot of help. I can't do this all by myself. I got a team behind me, and they're phenomenal guys, and they do a lot. We all do a lot. It takes us a day and a half to put in 565 cars inside the building. And
you got to see Jay's face right now. He's like, "What the hell? 500? Yeah, it is.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of cars. It's a lot of effort, and we have a big staff and we're not perfect. We've learned from our mistakes, and when we make a mistake, we'll say, hey, we made a mistake, but at least we learned from it for next year, and hopefully don't make the same mistake again.
Right.
It's. So let me ask you this now. When does your brain start turning for 2019?
Already.
It already started a year ago. So as the show's progressed, the first 2 years, it was very difficult to get people to bring cars, to kind of, show people what we're all about. But then as people started coming, now it's getting much easier from my point of view to hand select, the best of the best cars. And so, for example, for next year, for 2019, people say, how are you going to top next year? Well, we do. We honestly do. Next year, as I hate to say it.
Here it comes.
Here
it comes. I was going to ask this question. We got to get the drum roll in right here.
Next year, we're going to have the 1969 300 Deluxe Post Sedan Chevelle showcase. And as of today, I've got 7 already, ready to go and come to the show.
Unbelievable. That's how this is. They knock down the doors to get into the show, right,
well,
Dan? It's just unbelievable.
Now that we have the big announcement right here on Rocket Radio with Dan Vasic on the horn.
Wow.
One thing that we got to tell these folks now that it's public, it's out there what next year's invitation is going to be. How do folks get in touch with you, or are you reaching out to everyone through channels, through car clubs, through Facebook, where you're seeking out the folks? How does that whole work?
Well, Steve and I are very similar, where he is the go-to expert for the W-31 cars and the W-30 cars. I am the same for the 69 SS 396 300 Deluxe Post Sedan Chevelle. So I basically know where 63 of them are in the country, and out of those 63, there's only like 20 of them that are finished, restored, drivable cars, because the rarity of these cars are so rare. And basically, out of the 20 that are working, driving cars, I kind of am selecting those cars that people haven't seen and have never seen before, or that are freshly finished. And I've also even talked to a couple of the ones that probably will not be finished, because I want some example of, cars that are, almost finished. And even if I could find ones that are, kind of like a barn find. So, I like bringing cars and people that have never been to the show, because those are the folks that really, really just get their socks blown off, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this show is like this.
Yeah.
It's funny that you just said the word barn find, because I have something written down there. And one of the videos that I saw online that were posted from that group on Facebook that was doing like the video exposés, I forgot their name.
V8?
Is that who it was? They were doing like the video just highlights, and you could pay to get a feature and whatever.
Yeah, that was
Kevin
that.
Ostie.
Who?
Kevin Ostie?
Yes, Kevin.
Well, there we go. There's
Yes.
a little shout out to that, because those.
Yeah.
I was.
Well, they did a
following
video
those
for
all
us
weekend.
too.
I
They
saw
did a
yours.
video
It
for
was-
us
it
too.
was fantastic.
Amazing. They do an amazing job.
And one thing that I want to go on there is barn find and the unfinished and whatnot. Tell the folks, habla un poquito español. Tell the folks about El Malo.
Well, El Malo is a car that that came to me. I've known of the car. When the owner, he's a local owner here to Chicago. He contacted me and he said, "Hey, I'm going to be bringing something special to the Mundelein Cruise Night. Can you please come? I want you especially to see this car." And I'm like, "Absolutely." So I knew it was something kind of up my alley. And the owner's name is Bob, and when he pulled up, I was like, wow, this thing is cool. It was basically, an unmolested drag car that's always been a drag car, an Oldsmobile drag car, with original paint. The engine and motor and trans were gone because it was a heavily drag raced car. So I resurrected it. I resurrected the car with Bob. And he saw the vision, and we both agreed that this is the way this car should be handled. So we saved the original paint. I did a complete frame off restoration. Everything was powder coated underneath. All new brake lines, fuel lines, all new brakes. So everything is now a safe and running car again. And now that I finished the car, I've handed it off to the father and son. And now the father and son are going to take it from there, and they're going to finish the engine and the transmission and the drive shaft and finish that and basically make it a running driving car. And then they're going to campaign it at all the various Oldsmobile meets throughout the country and let people just see this thing, because it's a car that, it needs to be seen by the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing piece.
Yeah, what was your take on that car, Steve?
It blew me away because I love that nostalgia Oldsmobile drag car themed, and this car was born like that. And there's not a lot of these type Oldsmobiles left in the world, And Dan did an amazing job on this thing. The way, Dan, I didn't tell you this, but the gold leaf and the way the old lettering is on that thing, that just like oozes, man. It's just awesome. I love that stuff. I absolutely love that stuff. If I can ever find a 70 W-31 that was campaigned back in the day, similar to something like El Malo, that would be.
We talked about that in episode 3, where he had the opportunity for that Rhode Island car.
Yeah, Johnny Williams' car, which is still, I heard, for sale, whatever, but that's a car that I kind of grew up with that got me into drag racing. That was one of the only reasons why I went to the drags, to see Johnny race.
Wow. Yeah, but your piggy bank's kind of on the low side right now.
Yeah, way low. It was worth it. Trust me when I tell you that.
So, Dan, tell the folks how to get in touch with you and anything else that's coming up in 2019 that you're plugging, promoting, getting out there with the people.
It's real easy. Just contact me on my email. It's abodymuscle, ABODYMUSCLE, abodymuscle@AOL.com.
Yes.
If anybody has a super rare, 1969 300 Deluxe post sedan Chevelle, and if you're interested in coming to MCACN, call me. I'll glad to listen to what you have and help anybody out with any questions they may have about the show and what the show's all about.
It's worth the trip.
Yeah, and then one more thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was one thing I really, really enjoyed this year is we hosted an after-hours party at my client's shop, Joe Spagnoli.
Yeah.
And Joe Spagnoli is a wonderful, wonderful human being. He's a great client of mine. And,
yes.
and I give the pleasure of maintaining and taking care of all of his cars. And it was just a phenomenal
Yes.
Party that we threw. We had over 200 people show up. And Steve, you could tell them the rest. Tell them what we debuted at 8 p.m.
I didn't
it's almost,
show.
hold on, it's more like this. Like, you can tell me what the folks are allowed to hear, and then when we're done with the call, we'll keep you on the line while we're not taping, and you can tell me about the real party. But go ahead.
Well, basically, Joe is a big asset to this whole car collecting industry. He's just a really stand-up guy, has one of the best collections, I think, in the world, a very diverse collection, but kind of focused on Hearst. You know, Hearst Camaros, Hearst Oldsmobiles, and the Hemi under glass car, buddy. Yeah, Jay is a big Mopar guy, and he's freaking out right now. I did not show you the video.
No, I know the video. I followed the Wriggle car when it flipped over with Leno. I know the whole story. Well, I saw the Wriggle car in Englishtown as early as back as 93 with the little red wagon.
Right. Now, the thing is, Joe bought the car, okay? And he's also got the old sheet metal on the side of his wall of the old car that flipped. And it's signed by Leno and Ruggles. It's unbelievable. It's sitting on the wall. We're going to put a picture of it up right now. Jay, I know you haven't seen this, but we got to show people this. This is unbelievable. And I did a video of this. I don't know if you even noticed me, Dan, what I did. But as Joe started that car up, I walked on the side of the car and was like right next to it when he was whacking it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I just love that stuff. I mean, it's just amazing. And to be part of that.
I got goosebumps right now all over again.
Yeah, me as well. I mean, just to be, Jason, you have to picture it's in a garage that holds comfortably 50 cars. Right, Dan? I mean, I don't know the exact number, but that's what I envision, okay?
Yeah, there was more than 50 in there, but that's okay. Keep going.
I just want to kind of paint a picture for Jason here. So, this car is off to the side, covered, and behind it on a lift is a 72 Hearst Olds convertible, and all lined up over in the room in front of it is all 68 and 9 Hearst Olds, there's other 75 Hearst Olds, there's pace cars, all kinds of shit from Linda Vaughn, like that would make your head spin, because, Dan, Jason knows Linda Vaughn personally.
Very well.
Yes. I know, Excellent. Dan, you didn't know that.
She's Auntie Linda.
Yes. So, anyway, they unveiled this car. I knew what it was because I could see the side pipes. I knew what it was, and I saw, the old one on the wall, and I said, "This has got to be this is the car." And never in a million years did I think he was going to start the thing up inside. There's not tall ceilings in there. Dan, how tall are them ceilings in there? 15 feet, maybe?
Not even.
Yeah. All right. So it's even. Like, this car is sitting right here. This is like. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I just have no words. This car is an icon in the Mopar world.
Not even just the Mopar,
everybody knows that car. Yeah,
feature,
and it's here.
Everything across the
country. It's
country.
here in front of us. I can touch it. I can smell it. I can feel it. It's just those are the kind of moments that you cannot duplicate, and there'll never be another deal like that where he just unveils it in front of everybody.
Just randomly, here it is. Hey,
yeah, here it is. Check it out. I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna start it.
Holy shit! Hemi, right, with zoomies.
Really? It was freaking amazing. It was awesome. So, when we say that, Dan's comment is, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. You can explain it all you want here, but you got to experience it right there. You're in an enclosed garage, man. It was freaking nuts. It was awesome.
It's like me starting up the dart in my garage. No.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. Anything open headers, but that was just one of the.
My dart to the Wriggle car.
No. I hear you, but that's just one of the facets of this whole show. That these moments come spontaneously. We knew it was going to be a big part.
And we had Joe arranged it where he had his good friend Dennis Pitzenberger from Velocity come to the party, and Dennis spoke on behalf of Joe in the car, and Dennis unveiled the car It was, and literally, and all you saw was phones up in the air with their cameras, and it was like there was like over 200 people there.
Absolutely.
And it was just a phenomenal evening and party.
Yeah, it was just amazing. I mean, there was people that, you know, I'm not the type of guy that say, hey, yeah, just come to the party. Everybody that I invited, I called Dan. Dan, can I bring? Yeah, sure. You know, I knew what the answer was going to be, but I'm not the type of person that imposes like that.
Ask, for sure.
You know, even my parents, I'm like, Dan, can my parents come? And my brother, of course they can come. You know what I mean? So they got a thrill. My brother got a thrill. You know, Eric Garner got a thrill. The guy that does all these perfect exhaust systems for the muscle car industry, he was there. So the people that you meet, you can't predict what it's going to be. You just got to go experience it, right, Dan? You got to just be there, period.
Exactly. I mean, again, it's the bonds that we car guys have. You know, Steve and I haven't known each other that long, but it's like when you meet someone, you kind of like you feel like you've known this person for forever.
I feel the same with Dan and Joe. And Joe, I could call Joe right now. Joe, hey, how you doing? I need this or whatever. What's going on? It seems like we've known each other for 10 or 15, 20 years. And it helps that we're paisans too. So, you know what I mean? So I'm very fortunate. I'm going to say that I know Dan and I know Joe. These are two people that are really passionate and share the same kind of passion that I have and many other car enthusiasts in the world. And getting all these people together for MCACN or just going to Joe's.
Well, I'll make one more special announcement for 2019.
Do it.
I got to put another drum roll in.
We're at the bottom of the steps for next year, right in the front. We're gonna have the Hemi under glass there for the 50th anniversary of 1969.
You heard of it.
And we're also gonna bring the wall carcass hanging above it.
Oh, that's gonna be insane.
So can you imagine both of those right there, front and center?
Yeah, you tell somebody like that. Yeah, okay.
Come next year.
You should have came this year.
You should have. Shame on you for not coming.
Well, you know, if I come next year, I'll be happy to be your MC for any stage announcements. Just so you know, so.
Well, we'll even try. And again, we can only try. We'll even try to have Bob Riggle there with us.
Oh man.
There you go. I'll have to break out all my pictures from back in the day with Englishtown. I have with him, and even farther back. Just these are just legendary.
He came to Connecticut Drags with that car too.
That's
I know
before
he did.
my time. You're older.
Yeah,
than me.
yeah. Well, I saw him there. I saw him there, man.
So remind the folks again, Dan. How do folks get in touch with you?
abodymuscle@aol.com is my personal email, and it's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
There you go.
Awesome.
And I think Steve's got one more
I got one question. And I've been
go.
thinking about this because I know you already got planned for the 19 year, and you probably got some secondary thoughts on the 20 year. So I'm just going to tell you here live what I was thinking. And maybe you've thought of it already, but how about 66 W30s?
Absolutely.
Legitimate W30s. These are very rare cars. They only made 54, Jay. And I know Dan already knows that. 66 W30.
Absolutely. I can, we can discuss it. We can talk about it. If you want all my insight and my help, if you want me to manhandle it, I can do it. If you want to do it, we can discuss all of these little things, and this is how it all happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's
got to be an audience for it because you can throw so many specific things. Like being the Mopar guy I am, if he's picking a specific thing like that, which is just a small community, but like you opened up with, you want to do a featurette or an invitational that's going to educate the car world. That's really cool.
Right.
Then you can get into the M code 69 stuff, 69.5 Mopar stuff, or even let's go even more specific. The 72 supercharged Mr. Norm A-body stuff.
Right.
So you're picking this little niche that folks may not know that it's out there. These aren't the biggest dollar cars on the block in the
exactly
auction, but folks don't know about this small niche that was in there.
Right.
54. And that's what these invitationals are all about.
54. The thing is, there's only I think 17 or 18 in the registry, Dan. And I know I know a couple big players in that realm that I could call up and say, hey, get the ball rolling, let's put it that way. But I would love to kind of resurrect and get these guys together, and then Dan, you could do what you do, and I think it would be a great theme.
Get to put that one down for 2021, because then you'll be at what, the 55 years, right?
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Well,
right. Exactly, because the MCACN is set up great for the next 3-4 years, because 50th anniversaries are coming up for all of these cars, and
right.
I tell people all the time, you got to come if you own one of these cars, and
right.
it's going to be your car celebrating its 50th anniversary. You have to be there to celebrate your car if you bring your car or
right.
the other cars, because guess what? We're not going to be around for the 100th.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
You're right.
So you always got to match it with something that's on the 0, on the 40, on the 50, on the 60, or on the 25, the 35, the 45, the 55.
Right.
And we're not getting any younger.
Right.
Right. And then who knows? What are we going to be looking at in 20 years? Is the muscle car market and the industry and the hobby still going to be as strong in 20 years?
Right. Got to get the young ones involved, and that's tough.
We have to. We have to. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get the early
offense,
blood.
Even though when I'm old and tired and I'm in my go around scooter, I don't want to be walking to these car shows, these invitationals, and looking at 2005 Challenger RTs.
Right.
Well, I don't think that'll be the case, but it's up to us to keep it going. Keep the torch lit.
Right.
And that's why we have folks like Dan Vasic on
right.
the phone. Rocket Radio, folks.
Give
it up one more
awesome.
time. Zone 1 Keymaster.
That's it. I love it.
This year's 2018 W-31 Invitational, Mr. Dan Vasic.
Did a great job, man. He did a great job.
Tonight, brother.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, guys. It was my pleasure. Love to do this again, and you got to make sure you come to the 2019 MCACN show. I don't want to hear surprises. I want to see hotels booked and your flight reservation.
There you go.
I'll get him in. I'll get him there. Don't worry.
Well, you guys have a great holiday to you and yours, and we'll definitely get you back on in 2019.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, brother.
Bye-bye.
Man, so how was that, dude?
That was crazy. That was like one of my favorite phone calls of the season. Here we are, episode 12, Rocket Radio, sitting down, as always, with my co-host, Steve Minore, Minore, cas-am Performance, Rocket Report, Rocket Radio Steve. Hit him with the email.
cas-am Performance at sbcglobal.net. That was an amazing phone. .net. I'm all wound up, dude. So, that was a hell of a phone call, man.
And we even got some scoop. 2019 69 post sedan Chevelle SS96 Invitational at MCACN next year, 2019. And I see the phone is blinking over there.
We're on hold. We got the man.
Bring them in. Who's on the phone? Who do we got now?
This is Casey Marks.
How's it going, guys?
One of the other W-31 gurus on the planet.
Before you even get in there, Steve's got something hiding in a box on the studio here, and he unveiled it a minute ago.
Yeah, what is that on the side there? What is that?
I'm looking at this W-31 cardboard box and this amazing-looking, put-together piece of artwork of Oldsmobile NOS parts, and it has an oil cap for a switch, and this is a lamp created by the man on the phone, Casey Marks. Tell us about this lamp. What are we looking at?
Well, what it is some of the things I do on the side. I take some old car parts that are sitting around and otherwise junk, and make them into usable things, fun trinkets, whatever. And like that one, I made a lamp out of it. Steve had some parts hanging around, and he wanted me to make something out of some of the junk that he had. We went into the magic shop and came out with what you see there.
Well, our audience is looking at that now. And,
we're gonna put a picture up.
Boom. On my YouTube page. There it is, right there.
This thing's amazing.
And from top to bottom, Steve really told me about this, and usually we go into our tech talk bit where we're skipping that tonight because we got all these phone calls lined up.
That's right.
And he came up with something very specific in the NOS piston, how it's W-31 specific,
right,
with the notches on the flat top. Tell me about that. Why was that a specific thing for the W-31?
The deal with the W-31 is, of course, it was, you hear the the classic balanced and blueprinted. People use those terms kind of willy-nilly nowadays and in the past, back in the day, without really having any knowledge or background. And the W31 was truly a blueprinted engine assembly, and that means that they took the parts and matched them specifically, pistons to bore size. You got to remember, it's mass production, assembly line manufacturing. So there is a certain level of production involved. It's not just building one motor at a time in a shop. They've got to build them in mass. But they took the time and the attention to detail to mark individual components so that specific pistons would fit in specific bores to get the performance that they wanted from the motor. And so that's what the notches designate on the tops of the pistons there.
He's right. Am
I right, Steve, or what am I missing?
No, you hit it right on the head. And I think the notches are for identification. This is the only true flat top piston made for a 350 from the factory. Yes, correct. I think they made them for a 400 too, but that was early, right?
Yep.
So these are the only flat top pistons Oldsmobile ever made for a 350. Only available in the 68 to 70 W31 engines. Here it is. That's it.
Yeah. So without even trying, we actually got a Tech Talk segment.
Sure did.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
No, this is awesome.
I've already spun out into a tailspin.
No way. There is no
Spinning
tailspins on Rocket Radio,
being,
bro.
Being a drag racer guy, and Steve told me a little background, and I'm sure the audience, we have a lot of NHRA fans, a lot of supercar guys, a lot of fast guys, a lot of nostalgia, super stock friends and family that are listeners and racing groups in our community. Tell me about the fastest pure stock 70 Oldsmobile F85 W31.
Oh, boy. Well, it goes back a number of years. I've been involved with the pure stock drags for 26 years. It'll be 26 years, I think, next year. So it's been quite a while, and nobody was ever successful or ever really even raced a W31 in the pure stock drags. How many Hemi Cudas can you see? But there's no W31s. W30s would pop up, even 66 W30s.
Right.
But no W31s. I kind of took it upon myself to see what I could do a max effort, pure stock legal, 350 olds, and I wanted to use the best package possible. And for me, it was a 70 F85 because that's the bare bones, lightest of the A-body Oldsmobiles, and make it go as fast as I could. It went at 1282 at 107.95, and that was with a 466 gear and an automatic transmission. G70 14 polyglass tires. So this isn't on slicks or anything crazy. These are on old school polyglass tires. So the ultimate eliminator, if you will, or the breaking point becomes wheel spin in the tires. Everybody's got the same crutch. You can only have so much horsepower. You got 1,000,000 horsepower. You can't put it to the pavement. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, it was a Sherwood green interior, white striped car, steel wheels, button hubcap. But it still is in the top 10 of the fastest small blocks at the pure stock drags from back in 2004, I think. So
that's impressive.
Yeah, that's not going to be an easy one to break, I can tell you that. The only person that's going to break it is himself if he ever comes back out, right? You're going to come back out, baby.
Well, I've got my sights on a QB car next, and a QB is a 310 horse 350 with kind of a sexier camshaft. But again, we don't want to go into tech talk, but that's next on my list is kind of a more unassuming 350 Cutlass.
That's going to be a fun project, man. I can't wait to see what pops up with that. So let's get back to this artwork here. This thing is just, amazing. You did an amazing job in a short period of time. Your visions on these things, I don't know how you get them, but putting these pieces together in a box to send to you, I had a couple thoughts in my mind, but, I basically wanted to give you, an open realm. Here's some pieces, put it together as you envisioned. And I, obviously what you built for me wasn't what I envisioned, but I knew whatever it was going to be was going to be just top notch, and I really, really love this thing. Basically, what it consists of, it's a NOS W31 piston on the top, no wrist pin in it. It looks like it's got a reverse gear welded underneath it, so it kind of slips on like a lamp shade over a bulb that he put right in the center of a legitimate W31 distributor. There's a 4-speed synchro right here. And then this right here is a hood lock from a 70 W31 that I've owned through the years. That's a 70 oil filler cap, as you say, Jay. That's the switch that makes it go on and off. Casey made these custom inlays. Says nice W31 in the front. He made this custom base. And we also have a set of rockers, stock rockers, from whatever cubic inches. They're all the same pretty much.
I see the cut push rods behind there too.
Yeah. If you look close, you can see a lot of different stuff on here. It's pretty amazing. And Casey made me another artwork piece. It was the insignia from Led Zeppelin's Zofo. I should have brought that to show it to you, but it's actually hanging up in my garage, and I didn't have time to take it down. He made that for me probably a year or so ago. It's pretty amazing, the pieces that he assembled together, and it really looks perfect. I mean, it really is. And I got to give kudos to Casey, because these are just some of the pieces that he makes. I've seen other pieces that he makes, and it's just whatever his vision is. I don't know.
We gotta get
keep going with it, man.
How do folks?
You got
a website or a
email?
Folks that they can request.
What's the name? You told me the name of it, but I didn't want to screw it up, so I want you to tell everybody what the name of this sideline company per se, or LLC, whatever you want to call it. What's the name of it?
It's called Quarter Mile Creations.
Love it.
I don't have a website per se, but people can track me down on Facebook.
Right.
Look for Casey Marks.
Right.
Kind of a low-key guy.
Right.
You know, I do this stuff out of my own shop and
Right.
what have you.
And I respect that. We all respect
this
that.
past year's been kind of hectic for me, so this next year I promise to get a little bit more online presence, be a little more professional about it. It's kind of a fun deal, you know?
Yeah, I'm honored to have this
something
piece.
to do with my greasy, rusty junk that's been sitting in the barn for 30 years.
Well, like I said, I'm honored to have this piece in my possession, and
well, I appreciate it. I'm honored to have been asked to do it. So that was pretty cool. I appreciate it.
And you know, one other thing here I'm going to show Jay is right here, like this is the front of it right here. You put your business cards like they sit right in here. It's friggin' perfect,
that
man.
was a total coincidence.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, look at it. Look at this thing. It's beautiful.
Absolutely amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I think I'm going to have to lump Steve on the top of the head and steal some of that copper, though, because copper's going for 34 cents an ounce, I think.
What, you're already field stripping it for scrap?
No!
Man, it's winter over here in Connecticut, you know? We got to pay for that oil heat.
As long as there's no fingerprints on that polished stainless steel
I
base.
know.
Don't
I'm going to
worry
keep
about
it
that.
nice.
Nobody's manhandling it, right?
No way. Nobody
Steve's
touches this thing.
manhandling something else, but this is a family show.
Or there's no paw prints from the 83 cats that Steve has.
Yeah.
All over there.
Everyone knows about the cats.
Yeah, everybody knows about the cats.
All
Yeah.
right.
Everybody knows
Tell me
the
about
cats.
some of the judging adventures. Steve said you were part of the team at MCACN this year. Anything that you really seen, aside from the Steve spectacle and the unveiling from the Garner Customs and Restoration guys and Steve's W31, and what were you judging as far as the Oldsmobiles that were on the block?
My team consisted of myself, Jimmy Mckeague, and Al Sutton from Canada. We were tasked with the 70 W31 cars. There were the 70 W31 Cutlasses, just some awesome representation of what's out there. Some neat color combinations. There was a Sebring yellow car with the gold stripes and the saddle interior. It's like I was telling everybody, you see that combination in like a color chip chart and you go, how could you ever put those two together? But when you see it on the car,
it's amazing.
It just it worked.
I'm going to put a picture up here so everybody can see what this car looks like.
It was really an honor to do that. Look at some of the nicest W31s, and you know, you never see that many under one roof. That was a spectacle in and of itself. It's neat to be able to take judging to a new level with W31s, because they've always been kind of the redheaded stepchild of the W30 for years and years, and nobody really knew a lot about them. And so they're just starting to come into their own and get restored to a level of some of the other craziness that W30s and other makes go through, you know.
Right.
So it's kind of an exciting time to be around them, because first nobody knew what they were, and now people are getting to the level of understanding the proper and correct way that they were built originally. So that's pretty exciting.
Because of what you did 15 years ago at the Pure Stock Drags with your W31, I think that actually added a little bit at that time, and it might have carried a little bit through, but I think as people recognize the W31 name and they know what it means and they know what it is, this may resurrect some other W31s, or at least get W31s on the map and recognize them again. But I really think that your car, and doing what you did with it back 15 years ago and racing it and stuff, that kind of like you said, there was nobody else doing that with W31s. I mean, they did it in the drags when they were new, and that was NHRA, but this is a different level of racing. I don't want to say drag racing. I want to say racing. So I really think that you added to that, or you started the ball rolling as far as that's concerned, and that really kind of started it off, I think, to be totally honest with you. And that's what got me kind of involved with it a little bit, to race these W31s with the couple cars that I did. I just want to give you a thank you and kudos for doing that, because maybe if you didn't do that, Oldsmobile wouldn't be more on the planet that it is now, and getting these recognitions out of these, redheaded stepchilds, as you say, W31s. And I always had that problem when I went to the cruise nights, because everybody thought it was a W30 or a Chevelle, and they didn't know what the hell a W31 was. And after a little while, I posted a thing on the side of the car in the quarter window. This is not a 442. This is a W31 factory blueprinted engine with a special harmonic balancer, this much horsepower. So I try to educate people at the cruise nights and car shows, because nobody knew what the hell it was. And I think you can agree with me on that for sure. That just, you gotta, getting this invitational together and just educating people is
Yep, exactly.
Is definitely gonna help it. And now I understand that there's a yellow Sebring yellow W31 going to Barrett.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the W31 year. Will we see six figures? I don't know. We really haven't spoken about it. I know Jay's eyes are rolling right now because he's got it written down, and we're kind of jumped to the conclusion a little bit, but I don't know what this car is going to do. This is probably one of the nicest ones on the planet. I've never seen it in person. I think this is a Thornton car that was restored probably 10 years ago. It's got documentation, whether or not it's got a legitimate matching numbers motor, block, carburetor, all that. I don't know, but I will let you know when I go see it in January at Barrett.
I know from talking with people at MCACN that it certainly has generated interest in the W31, not only with Oldsmobile enthusiasts, but people from outside the Oldsmobile circle, too, that,
right.
Kind of blew those cars off and up, yep, there's the Cutlass, my grandma had one of those, and
right.
then walk away,
right. Right.
And you know what? There wasn't a single one of those guys that wasn't completely approachable and just a genuinely good person. That's pretty cool. I've been involved with other marks. A lot of times you will run into people that they're better than you, or they know more than you. And, I don't do this to play games. It's not always about the cars either. It's about the people you meet. The W31 and the Oldsmobile community in general is just good people.
Agreed.
So that's certainly the biggest part of it.
No, I agree 100%. I'm glad you were part of it, and glad you were able to experience it, and hopefully we'll be able to continue on with more Oldsmobile invitationals down the road. Who knows?
Right. Casey, thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate it, Casey. Big time.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
So there we go. Phone call number 2 of the night.
Unbelievable. Look,
I got to throw that picture up one more time.
Yeah, look at the workmanship of this thing.
I don't know. And while you're showing me that, I know that I see the phones beeping, but we're running
yeah. That's all right. We're gonna get this in. We're gonna get it in.
Screw it. Hit the button.
What's up, fellas?
Oh my God! It's Jimmy Mckeague.
Yes. We got a triple threat tonight, man. The secret weapons on the phone now. That's it. That's it. We're all done.
Tonight.
We're all done.
Segment, but we're out of time.
Yeah, but we're all done.
For the first time in Rocket Radio history, we are gonna do a teaser
for next episode.
For episode 13.
Yes.
Lucky 13.
Lucky.
Yes.
There he is, Jimmy. Tell them what we're going to talk about in episode 13. Close out the show.
Do it.
So I think what we're going to talk about in episode 13, we're going to talk judging coming off of MCACN. Judging for the Oldsmobile class is going to look like moving forward.
There you go, Rocket Radio fans.
That's it.
You heard it.
You
Jimmy
better
McKeague
tune in.
the phone.
The secret weapon.
You close out the show. You listen to us all the time. Close out the show for us.
Boys, you put a lot of pressure on me here. I haven't heard a podcast in weeks. I can't remember how you end it.
All right, well, I'll do it. You just fit right. So here we are, episode 12, Rocket Radio, Rocket Report, cas-am Performance, Stephen Minore. Hit him with the email.
cas-am Performance at sbcglobal.net. I don't want it to end. I want to keep
I'm
going.
your host, Dr. J, as
Can't
always
we
with
do
Steve
more?
Minore and
I want to do
our
more.
ghost host on the line.
Oof.
Say hello one more time, Jimmy.
Hey, what's up, gang? We'll talk to you guys next episode.
Yeah,
So
be
we're gonna
ready.
take us up in a week or two. That's it. We are out of here.
That's right.